this world, there is real evil. In the darkest shadows and in the most ordinary places. These are the true stories of the innocent and the unimaginable. When the Mackeys convert an abandoned roadhouse into a country music dance hall, they awaken an old evil. The angry dead attack the living and invade the bodies of the weak. With the help of a psychic and a preacher, the possessed fight to save their souls. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. In Wilder, Kentucky, an abandoned music hall stands on the banks of the Licking River, which runs north to Cincinnati. Local legend says that murderers and devil worshippers are drawn to this waterway, one of the few in the world that flows true north. Town records attest to the fact that it once ran red with blood.
There's quite a bit of work to be done. I think you'll see that this facility has everything that you're going to need.
Country music artist Bobby Mackey has been on the road for 12 years. Ever since he quit his job with the railroad to sing full-time, he's dreamed of owning his own nightclub.
Well, the type of music that I've always loved is the traditional country music. And lots of club owners don't understand that, and they wanted different types of music, and it got to the place where I didn't want to be nobody dictating to me the kind of music that I felt in my heart and I wanted to play. And it was either move to Nashville at that time or get my own place.
This'll work. This will work.
The former rock and roll roadhouse in Wilder, Kentucky is exactly what Bobby has been looking for. Later that afternoon, Bobby returns to the club with his pregnant wife, Janet.
What do you think? Come on, we'll go inside.
Did you see that?
See what?
That door just opened.
It was just unlocked. Come on in. I want to show it to you.
Janet didn't want to come in here. She didn't feel right about it at all.
Here. Come on, check this out. Watch your step, Janet, right here. Well, what do you think? Check it out. There's the bar right there. And the restrooms are over here, and...
I don't have a good feeling about this place.
Here, why don't you go check out the kitchen? It's really big in there.
Janet Mackey appears in silhouette to protect her privacy.
Felt like somebody was in there. And there wasn't nobody in there but him and I. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
Bobby? Who are you talking to?
Nobody.
What do you mean? I heard voices. Who are you talking to?
Janet, I'm not talking to anybody. It's just you and me here, baby. So what'd you think?
I don't have a good feeling about this place.
I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to leave. Let's come back tomorrow. Let's think about this some more. Because all I want to do is get out of there.
In my mind's eye, I could see it all. I could see the crowd. I could see people dancing. And so there was nothing going to stop me. I had to have the place.
From the day that Bobby signs the banknote and buys the place, he never looks back. His wife tries to support his decision.
I was afraid of it, but it's always been his dream. I knew that's what he's always wanted. And I thought, well, I'll just hang in there and support him.
One day, Bobby and Janet are cleaning up the club when a stranger arrives.
Hi, howdy. My name's Carl Lawson.
Carl Lawson worked for the previous owners of the club as a handyman. But he's been out of a job since a series of brutal murders forced the club to shut down.
I've kind of been out of work since they closed.
I'd seen more just unexplained acts of violence in and around that building than you shake a stick at. Any nightclub or bar is going to have its share of, brawls or fights that's going to happen.
Why was it shut down?
But on this scale here,
Well, this place used to draw really...
it was abnormal.
I need an ambulance here now. I got a gentleman down on the ground. He has a gunshot wound to the chest.
The last year at the club was the most violent. 6 homicides. Carl believes that something about the place causes people to become violent.
Something's going on with this place. Eventually, that's what got the place closed down.
Sir, can you tell me what happened?
Playing classic country music here. We're not gonna have those kind of people here. You'll see. I assure you.
Well, that'd be a nice change of pace, sir.
Bobby believes his brand of
pretty
classic
nice.
country music will attract a more peaceful
I've kind of
crowd.
been out of work since,
You paint?
which hand you want me to paint with?
Bobby hires Carl as a
You start
full-time
today?
handyman
Thank you, sir.
and caretaker.
What do you know?
I just knew right off the bat I get along with him. I mean, it just seemed straightforward and just said what he meant and meant what he said.
I think that'll just about do it.
His wife, Janet, was about the same way.
Carl and I became buddies, and he was more like my little brother.
Carl, you know what you were saying earlier about strange things happening to people around here?
Me and her knew this place. There's more that meets the eye.
I'm gonna be in the next room painting. If you need anything, just give me a holler.
All right. Thank you.
What happened?
There was blood in there. There was blood coming up out of the sink.
The sink is empty. There's nothing in the sink. Nothing.
Wasn't for him. Who knows what would happen next?
Just blood in there.
I do know for a fact something forced that woman's head down in
There
that
was a hand
sink.
pushing my head into the sink.
I knew right there and then, whatever's here is not playing games. It's become dangerous. It's become violent.
I'm telling you, Bobby, there was a hand in the middle of my back forcing me into the sink.
Janet tells her husband what's happened, but Bobby can't believe what he's hearing.
I was like, it'll just stop and...
He told me it's crazy. He didn't believe me. He didn't believe Carl.
What's going on here?
But it did happen.
I'm telling you, I don't want you filling her head with any more of this stuff. Do you hear me?
He's not putting anything in my head. I know what I saw, and I told him about it.
Janet, ain't nothing.
I don't believe in ghosts. Gotta be
I've
an
heard enough. That's it.
explanation.
That is it.
Something else. It can't be that. I couldn't dwell on it.
Carl, sit down. I don't want you filling her head with any more of these ghost stories. Do you hear me? And I certainly don't.
Bobby warns Carl to keep his ghost stories to himself,
Any more of these ghost
or
stories
he'll have to find another job.
Now go and clean the bar. We need to get
I
ready.
had
for
invested
opening.
everything I had in here, and all I wanted to do was get it open. And I didn't want to hear anything about ghosts, and I had told Carl over and over not to tell people about it, and much less quit putting it in Janet's mind.
One night soon after, police officer Larry Hornsby makes his rounds.
I had a funny feeling all night for some reason. And a full moon, something's going to happen.
This'll work.
You guys don't happen to need any help, do you?
Officer Larry Hornsby calls for backup, suspecting a burglar may be inside Bobby Mackey's club.
Did you hear it? Yeah, backstage. All right, let's go. All right. Police! Come on out! Police! Come out! I knew there was a man and a woman in a radio playing. I heard the voice and I heard the music.
There's nobody back here. What do you mean there's nobody back here? I heard voices in here, though.
Me too. Front door. Let's go.
No wind. There was nothing could close that door. We was stunned. Put it that way in plain words, we was stunned.
Hey, what are you gonna call it? We saw a ghost?
I said, if I put this in a report
Look, just forget
like this, they'll be send me to a psychiatrist. I'm just gonna put it. I went into the building and checked it out, made sure there was nobody in here.
I'll see you tomorrow, all right? I'm getting out of here. Have a good night.
A few nights later, Officer Larry Hornsby returns to the nightclub in response to a fatal traffic accident.
You got nothing? All right, we need to get these guys out of the car. We got anything to cover the bodies?
Nothing in the car.
Look, I need an EMT out here quick. I got 2 bodies from a car accident. We need the end. Thanks. Here.
After we got the scene cleared, we came back up, knocked on the door so we could thank her for giving us a tablecloth. But the doors were locked. We didn't know what happened to her.
The next afternoon, Officer Hornsby tells Bobby about the woman who brought out the tablecloths.
Did you hear about that accident last night?
Yeah, I read about it in the paper.
We thought it was the waitress, and we described her.
Tell you about it so you can thank her.
Bobby says there was no one at the club after 10 p.m.
I never did believe in ghosts. Never. I would laugh at you then. But a lot of things changed since then.
I'm telling you, Larry, these doors were locked. There was no one else here.
No, I don't want to say all these people are liars, because there are a lot of credible people. But I just find it hard to believe that there's anything in here, any supernatural or any ghosts, or I just can't believe that. There's got to be an explanation for everything that has taken place.
You all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I just broke the last of my good bulbs. I gotta go get another one.
Okay.
Careful with the Vaseline.
That's all right. I'll clean it up. Oh, I'm good.
Janet, you don't have to clean anything up. I'll be right back. I can take it.
I get it.
All right, I'll be right back, okay?
Get her in here. Come on, darling. Come on. Hello? Anybody here? Help! Hold on, my wife, she fell down the stairs. She's pregnant.
I was so terrified because I thought, I was going to lose my baby. I went into labor.
What happened? Come on. My wife, she fell down the stairs. She just tripped.
I was angry. I was terrified. I was everything.
She told me it's something forced her down the steps, and I believed her. Bobby's concern was the business. I mean, I can understand He's got a reputation on the line.
We gotta do something about these spirits, man. They're getting out of control.
Carl, there's no spirits. What's wrong with you?
Nobody's gonna believe you unless you experience it yourself.
You all right? Do you need anything?
Janet gives birth to a baby girl who weighs only 1 pound, 15 ounces. They don't know if she'll survive. In the following weeks, the couple monitors their newborn. When it becomes clear that their daughter will survive, Bobby prepares for the grand opening.
Great time.
Opening night, I was kind of numb. I had a lot on my shoulders and a lot of stress and a lot of pressure.
Don't forget Piggy Sue back here behind the bar.
Wish I was a king or had $1 million bucks, and I wish I had a penthouse view. I don't think about a Hummer or a limousine or vacations on the finest cruise. All I really want is a country girl and a boss. We have always been true.
Carl, listen to me. I don't want you telling any ghosts. Carl, look at me. I don't want you telling any of the customers that stuff. All right?
Bobby,
My focus was totally on running this business and making it work. I didn't want to hear any of this nonsense. I wanted to make the place known for a great country music dance hall.
A few weeks later, Carl moves into an apartment above the club. He spends every night there, alone.
Unless I had to go somewhere, I stay here. Kept an eye on it, protected it. It was something like from a nightmare. I'd actually thought I was dreaming, but I wasn't. It was real.
For weeks, Carl is in denial about what he's seen. One day, Carl is cleaning up the storage room.
My love is as deep as the sea, it flows forever. You ask me when will it end, I tell you never. My love is as bright as the sun, it shines forever. You ask me when will it end, I tell you never. The world may disappear like a castle of sand. I will be waiting here with my heart in my hand. You ask me when will I die, I tell you never.
The diary contains the personal confessions of a woman named Johanna, a dancer who performed at the club in the 1930s.
Tuesday.
She was in love with a musician, and Johanna's father did not like this guy.
He said he'd kill him if we didn't stop seeing each other. I'd rather be dead than lose Robert.
Johanna writes that her lover mysteriously disappeared. She feared that her father had killed him, so she poisoned her father, and then herself. Her final entry in the diary proclaimed that she would roam the halls of the club for all eternity, waiting for her lover to return.
I couldn't breathe. Maybe I just got a medical problem I should get checked.
Carl is unable to sleep. Then the power goes out. Carl goes to the basement to check the breaker panel. He stumbles onto a latch that he had never noticed before. Desperate and frightened, Carl returns to the basement, carrying a vial of holy water.
I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. I felt if it's evil, get some holy water or something, keep what's down there from getting back up here.
Carl knows that whatever is inside the well is stronger than him.
Look at this place.
Carl? Are you all right?
In the following weeks, Carl's behavior becomes unpredictable.
How come you haven't cleaned up the place?
It got to the point where I wouldn't know which Carl I was talking to.
Carl, you okay?
I would have to talk to him for just a little while to figure out, you know, how to deal with him, because he always seemed to be different.
You think you're alone here, but you're not.
Carl, you okay?
You'll see.
See what?
I've been trying to tell you, Bobby.
Tell me what?
Don't you
This
see?
place sort of, it became a, it was part of me.
Bobby Mackey stays focused on his business. He asks a friend, Doug Hensley, to help him produce a television commercial.
So, come on down to Bobby Mackey's Music World, where the good times never die.
Although Bobby refuses to believe the nightclub is haunted, he confides in his friend about the strange occurrences.
So how's everything going?
Pretty good. I'm having a problem with one of my employees, though.
Who?
A kid named Carl. That young
Once
kid.
Bobby had told me the
He's
story,
seen ghosts.
I asked him
Really?
why he kept it quiet. And he said that a lot of people are afraid of ghosts, and he didn't want the word out. He firmly said he didn't believe in it, but his wife and Carl Lawson believed the place was haunted.
As a writer, Doug is intrigued by the incredible story.
Do you mind if I talk to him, though?
I guess you want to talk to him, you can talk to him, but...
I'd love to. I just want you to tell me what you experienced, best as you can say.
This place is evil. I've seen stuff I can't explain. I found a loose floorboard. Inside that floorboard,
Carl
I
tells
found a
Doug
diary.
about Johanna's diary. And the two men he saw in the basement.
Carl told me that this place was filled with evil, and the only reason he stayed here was to protect Janet and Bobby. Had it not been for that, he would have left here a long time ago. But he also told me that they don't want us here. Something always pulled him back here.
Hensley is a natural skeptic, but he takes their stories at face value.
I was 5.5 months pregnant. And I felt this hand in the middle of my back, but I was alone.
I found Janet to be more believable than Carl in the beginning because her demeanor was total and complete trepidation. She was afraid to even talk about it. You would have to know Janet Mackey to know that she would not make up something like this.
Though he remains skeptical, the stories pique his interest. He goes to the local library to research the history of the club.
I really thought Carl Lawson was schizophrenic until I started doing hours and hours of research, learning the history of this place.
Hensley finds an explanation for Carl's story in a 19th century article from the Kentucky Post.
I learned of two men that were hung in Newport, Kentucky in 1897. Their names were Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson.
Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson, two Cincinnati dental students, were convicted and sentenced to die by hanging for the murder of a young socialite named Pearl Bryan. Her headless body was found near the site of an old slaughterhouse in Wilder, Kentucky. She was 5.5 months pregnant at the time of her murder.
Alonzo Walling swore a curse on the gallows and said that he would come back from hell and haunt everyone involved in his trial and haunt the place where Pearl Bryan's head was.
Hensley tells Carl and Janet what he has found. He explains that after Pearl Bryan's body was discovered, bloodhounds led investigators to the slaughterhouse. Locals suspected that the killers had disposed of Pearl's head in the old well in the basement of the slaughterhouse as part of a satanic ritual. But the head was never found. Doug explains that the nightclub rests on the foundation of the old slaughterhouse.
Satan worshippers came to this spot at night and gave blood sacrifices down inside that well to worship the devil because of all the blood spilled on this ground. There was a culvert pipe that all the blood of the animals was rinsed into the Licking River. It is my opinion that Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson both dwell at this nightclub because this is where they disposed of Pearl's head.
One striking similarity among Johanna, Pearl Bryan, and Janet Mackey is hard to ignore.
Janet Mackey told me she was 5.5 months pregnant when she was thrown down a flight of stairs.
Bobby, you gotta do something about this.
Pearl Bryan was 5.5 months pregnant.
Somebody that can help us.
Johanna, the dance hall girl who poisoned herself inside this nightclub, was pregnant. Right around 5.5 months.
Doug Hensley knows that there are angry spirits inside Bobby Mackey's nightclub. Hoping to bring peace to the building, he invites a psychic named Patricia Michelle. Michelle is a nationally known medium and psychic counselor. She claims that since she was a child, she has been able to communicate with the dead.
Patricia, this is Carl.
When I arrived at the club, I met Carl, the caretaker.
They're here.
He started to talk, and I said, do me a favor, Carl. I said, don't talk to me about any spirits. I said, let me walk through the club. Let me experience what I experienced. I have what they call inner vision, or second sight.
Patricia senses the presence of a spirit.
What's your name?
And she said, my name is Johanna. I said, what happened to you?
Why are you here?
She said, I know I'm dead. I said, why don't you let me send you to the light? And she said, no, lady. She said, don't send me to no light.
Patricia realizes that Johanna's spirit has chosen to remain earthbound.
I think that what is in Bobby Mackey's nightclub are ghosts that believe there is no place for them to go. And so they would prefer to live in this nightclub than to go on to a place where they may burn for eternity. That's what they think. I don't see see the room as it is. I see the room like it used to be.
Patricia sees a vision of a decapitated head.
I got this overwhelming feeling of nausea. I felt like I was spinning. I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Are you okay? Are you sure? Doug's bringing you a glass of water, okay?
Here you go.
Thank you.
The psychic senses the presence of two evil spirits.
Carl, the two men in the room. I think they're trying to
I
use
said,
your
Carl,
body.
these two men in this room, I said, I believe that they're trying to use your body.
I think it makes them feel comfortable.
They were enjoying their senses, touch, smell, taste. For me, I was controlled.
Carl, they've gone now. Carl, it's okay. They've gone now.
The psychic tells Carl he cannot fight these spirits
I
alone.
think you're going to need to get a minister to help you.
I definitely felt that Carl was possessed. And I told him then, I said, you really need to get a minister or someone to help you.
Doug Hensley brings a Pentecostal minister to meet with Carl.
And he told me that this was the most evil site that he'd ever stepped foot on in his life, that it was full of evil.
Why don't you guys wait here?
He said, I've been doing this for years, and I'm telling you, Carl Lawson is demonically possessed.
The minister has agreed to perform an exorcism.
Pray for us.
He asked me to stand outside the room, and he and Carl went into the old kitchen and sat at a table, and the minister started performing an exorcism.
You're a living gateway for violent spirits. It's not a natural type of thing. They want to live inside of you.
So what I'd like to do is to have us pray together.
I don't think you understand, preacher. They're gonna kill me. They're gonna try to kill you too.
No, it's all right. It's going to be okay. We have God on our side. Just pray with me. It'll be better, you'll see. Let's just go ahead. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Carl? Carl? Carl?
I'm not praying to anyone, preacher.
Who are you? Alonzo needs to leave Carl's body. And therefore I say unto you, be with the Lord God, and the devil will flee from you. Carl, submit yourself to God. Flee from the devil, and he will flee from you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I command you to leave Carl's body.
The exorcism started to become violent, and Reverend got afraid, and he called us other men into the room to surround Carl.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave his body.
He started speaking in Latin, and then he started speaking in English backwards, and he says, "I am Satan."
This Bible commands you.
And the spirit said, like a dog growling, "I manetas."
Compels you to listen. Therefore,
At that time, none of us had any idea what that meant, but later on, after the exorcism, the preacher showed us, he wrote that backwards, and it says, "I am Satan."
James 4:7 says, submit to God.
Carl, can you hear me? Are you all right?
When I woke up, everybody was looking at me, and I was on the floor, and I didn't know what happened.
After the exorcism, Carl decides it is time to move on.
I felt different.
Take it easy now. I wish you the best of luck, Carl. If you ever need anything, you know where to find
I
me.
felt changed.
Time for me to go. Take care.
I felt like a new human being.
So, guess I'll be getting on too.
How about a cup of coffee? Come on in.
No, it's okay. You take it.
I didn't need to have that spirits tell me to get out. I got out, and I never went back.
To this day, Bobby Mackey claims he himself has never witnessed paranormal activity at his nightclub.
I don't know if the place got a hold of me or anything unforeseen is holding me here. If that's a supernatural experience, then so be it. And I'm going to stay here.
Beneath the active nightclub, in the bowels of the old slaughterhouse, the well remains. Some say that it is still a gateway, and that an ancient evil hides deep inside. In this world, there is real evil. In the darkest shadows and in the most ordinary places. These are the true stories of the innocent and the unimaginable. Al and Kelly are building a life together. But they find themselves in the shadows of a grim past. Death lurks around every corner. And Al uncovers a long-forgotten tragedy. The killer returns from the grave to tear the family apart. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. In the Canadian city of Montreal in the fall of 1996, single mother Kelly Fontaine and her 6-year-old daughter Haley fantasize about living in a big house.
We would walk along and, pick a street, and she'd pick her favorite house and I'd pick my favorite house. That was kind of a game we always played.
Out of concern for her family, Kelly agreed to be interviewed only on the condition of anonymity.
We both seemed to like this house, where every other street I would like one and she'd like a different one. I guess that's why this game came about, because we always dreamed of living in a nice house.
Someday we are gonna have a house just like this.
For more than a year, Kelly has been dating construction supervisor Al Goodwin.
We seemed to just connect really well, and there was never anything we couldn't talk about. It was great.
Al says he's found the ideal house for them to live in together. In an odd coincidence, it's the same house that Kelly and her daughter had both picked a few days earlier.
You know that old place on Sycamore?
That's our favorite. Oh my gosh, we love that house.
Well, then it's perfect.
When we found out it was this house, we were just so excited about it.
So we thought this is the place we were going to be very, very happy there for a long time.
Wow, it's lovely yellow. It's great.
Before moving in, Al and Kelly have the rooms repainted.
When we have a baby.
They begin planning how to decorate the nursery.
Baby's changing table.
Our dream was to start another family, to give Haley a brother or sister and have another baby. And everything just seemed so like it was going wonderful for us.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Let's check it out.
We heard somebody coming up the stairs. And there was nobody there.
Maybe it was nothing.
We looked all around and didn't see anyone or anything, and we just kind of said, well, it's an old house. Maybe there's going to be noises we have to get used to.
I guess I did.
Check over here.
A few weeks later, Al is at work and Haley is at school. Kelly gets a call from her doctor.
Are you sure?
She's pregnant.
Oh. That's great news. Yeah, okay.
I was just tidying up. I heard footsteps in the same room as me. I thought, okay, I'm not going to overreact. I just kind of pretended it didn't happen and carried on with what I was doing.
That evening, Kelly breaks the news to Al.
I'm pregnant.
She also tells him about the eerie footsteps.
And I didn't want to make it like I was this nervous wreck kind of person. And our relationship living together was still so new that I didn't want to sound like I was crazy.
I mean, there's nobody there. I just hear footsteps.
I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
Maybe it's somebody walking outside.
Yeah, maybe.
Then I thought, yeah, there's something going on here.
Knowing there are no intruders in the house, Al calls a friend, Richard Paul Musano, who works as a paranormal researcher in his spare time. Al believes Richard is the ideal person to resolve the mystery of the phantom footsteps.
They were very worried. They just signed a lease for a new place. They had a small child. They were concerned they were getting into something they shouldn't be getting into.
Al argues that there is probably a simple explanation for the sounds.
He was sort of hoping that it wasn't paranormal. He wanted to have some reasonable explanation for what was going on. I've investigated phenomena where it was just mice or, the house settling.
Then we can identify the cause.
Richard suggests trying to record the sounds in the house when it is empty.
That's good.
Richard thinks the spirit is attracted to Kelly.
Oh, I don't know.
He believes she should be the one to turn on the recorder.
So therefore,
Whatever seemed to be in the house seemed to have a closeness to her.
The next day, Kelly prepares to leave to pick up her daughter Haley from school.
I'm leaving now.
I deliberately walked with heavy footsteps down the stairs. And I slammed the door so that anything that happened past that point of the door slamming, they would know wasn't me.
That night, when Al and Richard get off work, they retrieve the tape recorder.
I did not touch the tape recorder. I did not rewind it. I didn't want to be the one to find out whether there was anything on it or not.
I'm leaving now.
What they hear on the tape takes them all by surprise.
You could hear a tinkling that sounded like a charm bracelet. And then the footsteps stopped. It was almost not even a human sound. It was awful. It was just awful.
I looked at Al, and I didn't need to tell him he had something in that house. He already knew from the tape there was something unseen roaming that house.
Al replays the eerie recording. Paranormal researcher Richard Paul Musano.
You hear footsteps coming down the stairs, as if bare feet. And you can hear bracelets jingling. Then there's a sigh, and the sigh is almost like abandonment of a child.
It was actually very overwhelming to think that, you have a spirit in your house, and now you have no choice but to believe in something that you never believed in before.
Who do you think it is?
It definitely sounds female to me.
I bet it was a
Al tells Richard that he had met the house's previous occupants, a woman and her 15-year-old
I
daughter.
heard she loved the house.
He says that the daughter wore a charm bracelet, and he thinks that the voice on the tape sounds like her.
Here's what I heard.
Both the mother and daughter were forcibly evicted for failure to pay rent. Al says the mother was a drug abuser who dressed provocatively and hung out in bars.
They frequent
Her many lovers and unpaid bills made life difficult for her daughter. Al says he heard that after moving to an apartment, the mother continued to frequent bars.
Stay home and out of trouble.
I knew the mother, and she wasn't a very good person.
Hi, Mom. Don't wait up and stay out of trouble.
She was into a lot of drugs.
The 15-year-old girl became increasingly desperate about her mother's destructive behavior. Decided that death was not the right answer and called 911.
I need some help.
But the ambulance arrived too late to save her.
I don't think she was really trying to kill herself. I mean, otherwise,
It seemed like it was a cry for help and not that she really wanted to kill herself. It seemed like she was trying to get her mother's attention.
I think you're right. So
We kind of put two and two together. And the three of us believe the girl had come back to the house seeking her mother and most likely following Kelly around as a mother image.
Al just kind of really got curious about it. I was a bit curious, but I was much more afraid than I was curious.
During the days and nights that follow, whenever the house is empty, Al and Richard leave tape recorders running.
And when no one's around and the house is quiet, they'll talk. They'll do things.
You could hear a phone ringing and her answering the phone, and you could hear her side of the conversation. It was completely obvious it was this girl.
Richard returns one Saturday night to investigate further. Kelly arranges for Haley to stay with friends to keep her from being frightened by the men's activities. Al and Richard set up their equipment in key locations around the house.
We were running video upstairs. We had tape recorders recording upstairs. We had tape recorders downstairs operating.
I'm glad you could come over. Oh, for sure.
Richard's wife arrives to keep Kelly company.
I'm gonna go get the coffee, and if you don't mind, the cards are in the closet. All right.
They decide to play cards.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Your closet is freezing cold.
It was really strange that the closet would be cold because on the other side of the wall there was a hot water heater and the pipe went through that closet and that closet was always hot.
Hey, we decided we were gonna play some bridge.
Okay.
You deal first.
Very nice.
Al and Richard are eager to listen to the tapes.
What's wrong? And something hit me. My entire body was just tingling. I couldn't see. My eyes were watering. I was disoriented. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "It's like something ran through me."
Can I get you something? Some water, an aspirin, anything?
No, it's all right. It's all right. Let's listen.
Sheriff, what's on, man?
Come back here. Don't you turn your back on me. I will get you.
It's like something just went right through me. You okay? Oh, man.
Now, there was only Al and I upstairs, so where this voice came from, I don't know.
Come back here. Don't you turn your back on me. I will get you.
I got scared.
It's like something just went right through me. You okay?
Who is this guy?
But what frightens Kelly only makes Al more determined to solve the mystery.
I think we gotta keep investigating.
Who's this guy now that says he's either going to get us or the little girl?
This door has no habit of opening by itself.
Al.
Kelly and Richard's wife, they said that's enough. We're not staying here tonight. It was that bad. Everybody was just too scared.
Al, Kelly, Richard, and his wife returned to the haunted house after a frightening experience the night before.
I don't know, I just...
Kelly remains unnerved.
Richard and I'll check it out first.
I was too afraid at that point to learn any more that was going on.
Al and Richard venture into the house to face the unknown. The two men find nothing unusual until they go to the second floor.
We went through the house, upstairs, only to find all these black skid marks throughout the rooms.
It certainly would explain how loud it was last night.
The only thing I can
It's more than
reason
just footsteps.
is some other entity, some male entity in this house was chasing this girl. And she was trying to get away.
We believe she's
They
being
tell the
threatened
women what they found.
by a male entity.
Richard believes they need to help the girl cross over to the next world.
We need to help her cross over.
I felt an obligation to try to help her. Why I really felt like that, I really don't know, because I was very afraid.
Kelly and Al agree to try to help the girl. They hope that it will give them back their home.
We can probably help.
I thought maybe once this girl was on her way, everything would be okay.
And we'll get our house back?
Richard promises to find a medium who can help. Kelly, anxious to preserve her relationship with Al, reluctantly agrees to continue living in the house. A few days later, Richard brings a medium to the house. She has helped hundreds of spirits cross over.
I think I'm gonna go.
I was pregnant at the time, and I said, you know, will something bad happen?
You need to be here, okay? Don't worry, we're gonna say a prayer for you and protect you.
And she said no, that she thought it was very important for me to be there and be part of this. We all joined hands and she prayed for our safety.
And particularly
She really seemed like she knew what she was doing.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's be seated. I need you to be as quiet as possible when you say the movements.
She kind of went into a trance.
Hi, honey.
She was having a conversation with this young girl and telling her that she wasn't supposed to be here and stay here, that she needed to go on her way.
You need to cross over now. It's all right. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I know it's. You need need to cross over now, and you need to follow the light, and I'm here to help you. It's okay. Don't be afraid, all right?
Suddenly, the medium flinches.
There's a negative entity that just entered the room.
This dark entity showed up, trying to coax the girl to stay.
The medium urges them both to cross over.
Why would you let her go?
She started arguing with the male spirit, telling him to leave the girl alone.
I command you in the name of God to let her go! Fine. Then you just run.
Then she yelled at this male spirit to go rot in his own hell.
She's gone.
She did assure us that the girl had gone on her way, but she said the male spirit, he is not going anywhere.
I don't think you're going to get him to leave.
And he's not the only one here. And I was just, I felt kind of crushed at that point.
Kelly wanted out. Al wanted to know more.
This is John, the clairvoyant I told you.
A few weeks later, Richard invites a clairvoyant to see if he can help.
Let me give you a little bit of background. I've had this ability to sense spirits since
The
I was a
clairvoyant,
child.
John,
But I've also become
has been
very
able to
good
sense the presence of spirits since childhood.
buildings such as this. This will help.
He has communicated with the
Definitely
dead in
have
more than 1,000 readings.
Hierarchy of ghosts.
Pendulum is an instrument I've used for years.
I hold it like this.
Some people refer to it as a dowsing tool. There's a sense or feeling through your hand, almost like a current of electricity.
Spirit world. It's an ancient method that goes into the
Pendulums have been employed for millennia to detect imperceptible
this.
vibrations and often to communicate with spirits. John explains that he asks questions and that the spirits move the pendulum clockwise for yes and counterclockwise for no.
I've had it moving so strongly that I've had to actually hold on or it would have flown out of my hand.
I'm ready when you are. Is there a spirit here who would like to communicate?
I did get a positive response.
Are you a male spirit?
The pendulum indicated a very strong yes.
Yes. Can you tell me about it?
And then all of a sudden, boom, fear would come right through me.
Whoever was speaking to us is now terrified. Not tonight, he's killed it.
John tells them that the dark entity has silenced the other spirits.
We can try again.
I think that just completely sparked Al's and Richard's curiosity, and they just wanted to continue and do as much investigating as possible to find out what was going on and how we could change it.
A few nights later, John returns for another try.
I usually run equipment at the same time, and then afterwards I would review the tape, and then I would hear the other side of the conversation.
Is there a spirit here who wishes to communicate? Do you know the name
The
of the dark
clairvoyant
spirit
tries to
that
find out
dominates
more
this
about the
house?
dark entity.
I specifically remember asking, does he have a name? Do you know his name? And the answer clearly was, and this is when the pendulum began to accelerate in its intensity, yes.
Please indicate when I get to the first letter of his name. A, B, C, D, E. Good. First letter is E. Now for the second letter. A, B, C, C. He's here. A, B,
That night, what we got on tape was, very clearly,
You didn't tell them my name.
you didn't give them my name, did you?
Did you?
I don't want any part of this anymore.
Kelly finds it terrifying.
We're gonna get rid of this ghost.
No, you can.
I said, I don't want to know anything that's going on anymore because I was just too afraid.
Richard begins researching the history of Al and Kelly's home. He discovers that in the 1930s and 40s, it was home to the hired help for a nearby mansion. He also discovers that the mansion was managed by a man named Edward, the same name heard on the tape. Edward had been appointed to manage the huge estate during World War II.
There are streaks. What is wrong with you?
He quickly became a brutal tyrant.
I will teach you to obey.
Don't ever touch me!
He was a mean-spirited individual. He would take advantage of the female workers on the property. He thought he was very powerful.
So Richard was doing some research, and he found out there really was an Edward.
Al tries to tell Kelly about their research.
Stop it! I don't want to hear it. Carol, come on.
A few hours later, Kelly finds herself alone in the house.
It seemed like this, whatever it was really trying to scare us now.
He was here again today. I was coming out of the bathroom.
That night, Kelly tells Al what's happened to her.
It was really pretty scary.
The news frustrates him. His desire to put an end to the haunting has begun to drive a wedge between the two of them.
Why don't we just cancel our lease and move out?
Al seemed like he was possessed at times.
And give up our dream home?
I didn't understand what was driving him to want to stay there and get to the bottom of it.
Because I'm going to get our home back. Our lives
Al
back.
Convinces Kelly that Edward is somehow the key to bringing all the terrifying experiences to an end.
What about Haley?
He promises that while he tries to solve the mystery, he will protect both her and Haley.
Finding out what I need to know.
He reassured me that they were so close to putting the puzzle together and solving it that he was very confident that it would stop.
Okay.
I couldn't really describe why I chose to stay when I should have been out of there.
Did you hear that?
Whenever Al hears an unusual sound, he snaps a photo. hoping to capture images from the spirit world.
Check it out. Here are the pictures I told you about.
Al shows one of the photos to Richard and John.
They do look like babies.
I remember just seeing little infant faces. This is not us imagining this. There's one face, there's a face, there's a face, there's a face, there's a face. But I didn't understand why I saw so much blood. It's like a spiritual orphanage in here. And I remember, thinking, like, what would cause this? Why is this?
Well, that's what we got to figure out.
It just pushed us on for more investigations because we wouldn't stop until we found out.
You have a choice. Get out or find out what's going on.
One night, Haley goes downstairs to get a drink of water.
Al?
Her terror makes it difficult for her to talk.
And I saw someone. I thought it was Al, but it wasn't.
I was petrified for my daughter. She was young. She was so innocent.
It's okay, sweetie.
Maybe it could have been a nightmare.
No, I saw him. He was walking towards me.
You know, Haley, sometimes something can seem really real, but it's not.
I don't know whether she just wrote it off, that it was her imagination, or that maybe she hadn't fully woken up. I don't know.
The next morning,
I thought, okay, there's lots of cord still here. I didn't pull it out of the wall. This is strange.
Al, it's me. I need you to come home. No, I need you to come home right now. No, I'm serious. I'm not leaving the bedroom until you get here. Please just come home. Okay.
I sat on the bed and I was petrified.
Kelly, it's me! Al, open the door! I searched the whole house. There's no one here and nothing's been moved.
I don't care. This is all your fault. If you and your friends hadn't stirred everything up, it's just getting worse.
That's not true. We're trying to get rid of them.
It started putting a really big strain on our relationship because it was like he was more concerned with the unknown than he was for us.
Kelly.
And I felt very frustrated that he was so into doing this and figuring it all out that he was putting our feelings aside.
More weeks. A few more weeks.
He, again, convinced me that they were just so close to putting this puzzle together and that things were going to change and things would be okay once they figured it out.
It's scary.
Al, Richard, and John decide to only do research outside the house, out of respect for Kelly.
I saw that she was very nervous. She didn't want to disturb her household, but at the same time, her household was under attack, and so was she.
John warns Al that evil spirits may be trying to ruin his relationship with Kelly.
And I did say this to Al, be careful with the relationship with your wife, because very often they will do things to get you arguing, to get you fighting, to get you to hurt each other. They feed off that negative energy. They also know that, they break your marriage up, you're leaving. The fact that it manifested solid as it did, I felt it was saying, I know you see me. I don't care. I want you to see me. I want you to get a good look at me.
Al tells the others that he heard that a man living in the old mansion next door had repeatedly seen the dark, ghostly figure in his basement apartment. The man moved out after a section of the floor in his bedroom mysteriously sank.
It's interesting that this figure is showing up in different areas of the property. It doesn't seem that he just shows up in one room of a house. I said, we need to look into it. It's not good.
They decide to investigate. In what used to be an old mansion, 3 men hunt for clues to a haunting.
We basically made a portable Ouija board, for lack of a better term. A, B, C, D, E, and N numbers. We laid this out on the floor, and I used the pendulum. I felt we were going to need more than just yes or no down here.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Is there any spirit here who wishes to communicate?
John contacts the spirit of a 19-year-old girl.
I asked the young girl her name. She very clearly spelled out Angela.
How old were you when you died?
John discovers that in 1943, the girl died on the property.
And I asked her, what is it that caused your death? And the word I got was bleed. B-L-E-E-D, bleed.
B-A.
And then,
B-Y.
very clear, my baby.
John learns that she had gone to see a doctor. She identifies him as the butcher. The next day, John approaches an expert on local history.
I checked with a professor at the university, and I asked her, can you tell me anything about this name? And she says, oh, there was a very famous abortionist that worked in the local area.
It came up in some of my research.
John develops a theory about what happened at the estate.
The doctor had to flee the U.S. back in the early 40s. And this butler, Edward, saw a beautiful opportunity. They could make a lot of money.
Please stay as long as you want.
Thank you.
I know you don't want to hear about it.
Al tries to tell Kelly about their new theory.
I had a crucifix on my nightstand, and it landed with such force that it broke. I was petrified, and I said, no, this is enough. we have to get out of here. You know, this is insane.
I'm too scared to go to bed at night, and when I do, I can't sleep anyway. We need to get out of here. Together, as a family.
Come on out and face me! Come on!
The shattering of the crucifix frustrates Al.
This isn't gonna help anything, honey. Calm down.
I said, you come out, you face me. Where are you? Come on out. Nothing.
Oh.
Is this it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's go easy.
Okay.
Let's go easy.
Okay.
Let's go.
Despite the pressures during her pregnancy, Kelly delivers a healthy baby girl. The couple names her Charity. 2 days later, Kelly returns home with her new daughter, unsure of what awaits them. At the former mansion, the three men hunt for information that will help them expel a powerful dark entity.
We would like to speak with Angela. Is Angela here?
John contacts the spirit of a girl who says she died in 1943.
Yes. Can you help us find your body?
He asked the question, well, give us an indication where you're buried. And the pendulum, being on a chain, stood straight out.
This amazes paranormal researcher Richard Polmusano.
Totally defies physics. It boggles my mind. If I had not witnessed it, I probably would not believe it.
Is this where you're buried? Is this it? Yes, this is where she's buried.
Al, John, and Richard piece together Angela's last hours. She had gone to the estate for an abortion, but the procedure was botched, nearly killing her. Edward and the doctor carried the dying girl to the basement and dug a shallow grave.
He and the doctor dumped her in the hole in the basement. Tossed some large rocks on her to make sure she was dead, and then covered her up. And this 19-year-old is still there. She wants to be released. She wants out of that house.
The nightmare is almost over.
Al has a background in construction. He tells the owner he will tear out the sunken floor for free. The floor has to be replaced anyway, so the owner agrees.
We went about 8 or 9 inches deeper. And we found a flagstone that matched the flagstone around the fireplace, which was in that room.
Guys, it's really late.
The men need more equipment to remove the heavy stones, so they decide to continue in the morning. The next day, the men return to the mansion to continue digging.
Hey, what are you doing?
But the owner has hired workers to repair the floor. They've already poured new concrete.
We gotta get this surface done.
We shouldn't have stopped. We should have kept going. I could have been as little as 6 inches away from a startling revelation, and I believe she's still there.
Al and Richard are frustrated that they cannot continue their search. And without hard evidence, they cannot go to the police.
John, what is it?
Yeah, does that feel better, honey?
Meanwhile, Kelly gets Charity ready for her bath.
down. John, what is it?
Revenge. I think we've made him mad.
John suddenly senses they've deeply angered the dark entity.
Newborn.
Kelly! We're up here in the nursery, honey.
Kelly!
That bottle just flew across the room. It came this close to hitting her. It could have really hurt her.
It's okay. Here,
No.
I told him that was it.
No, not okay.
What?
I'm taking the girls and I'm gone, or you can come with me if you want.
But I'm leaving. I am not gonna stay here. Let anything else.
I think that's when Al thought something bad's gonna happen to her too, and that's when he really finally agreed that yeah, it's time for us to get out of here.
I love you. Let's move.
The family finally moves out, leaving the dark entity in control. But even today, Al wishes he had rescued Angela's bones and laid to rest the mystery behind the haunting.
There's no end for me. I don't think even Kelly knows that. I don't think I could even tell her about that. If I ever found out that I could walk in that house, and I'd probably do it again, just to find out.